Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another awesome legacy video. This direct to YouTube special is a particularly spicy one. So we are playing with no Bant. And I don't mean no as in there's not Bant here. I mean no as in N-O, natural order. And this deck list is brought to us by Dan S. Now, Dan's deck list is built in a very interesting way, and I want to highlight this. So, generally speaking, the game plan is sacrifice Natural Order to get one of either Simic Sky Swallower or Progenitus into play ASAP. Kind of ASAP. So, why do I say that? Because this deck is built more or less around resiliency and the ability to actually resolve natural order. Cards that have a sacrifice associated with their cost are often a little bit weak. So if you play a crop rotation and you sacrifice a land and then your opponent counters the crop rotation, it feels bad, right? And the same thing is true of cards like natural order. So what this deck list seeks to do is to minimize the number of times that a natural order actually gets countered. How are we doing that? This deck has Veil of Summer and Force of Will as counterspells to keep it from being countered, as well as a Dovin's Veto. And more interestingly, it has Teferi and Allosaurus Shepherd. So Teferi means that your opponents can only cast spells at sorcery speed, so they can't use an instant like a Force of Will to counter your natural order. And Allosaurus Shepherd says that your green spells can't be countered. So the combination of Allosaurus Shepherd, Teferi, Dovin's Veto, Force of Will, Veil of Summer is supposed to make it so that your natural orders resolve a good portion of the time and effectively end the game. So let's start with a couple of things that I noticed about the deck list. Number one, some of you might already be typing, why Simic Sky Swallower? That hasn't seen play in a long time. Is that better than Archon? Well, I think there's a weakness with this deck list. And the donor identified this. They wanted this card, whatever it was, to be both green, so it could be searched up by natural order, and blue, so it could pitch to Force of Will. Because there's a lot of green cards in this deck. Birds, Veil, Nova Hierarch, Allosaurus Shepherd, Ooze, Library. There's a decent number of things that don't actually pitch to Force of Will. So for the combo matchups, they were actually a little bit worried about their blue count, and hence the inclusion of this over something like Archon or Craterhoof Behemoth or something like that that otherwise might take that spot. Supporting the rest of the shell here, we have kind of a Bant control deck. So in the games where you don't draw a natural order, or it's not correct to just go for it, you can just play a control game with Brainstorms, Ponders, Source of Plowshares, Icefang Coatl, Uro, Teferis, that sort of stuff. Notably here, there's also Nissa, Steward of Elements, which can be a very large planeswalker, if you have a bunch of birds and noble hierarchs around. And notably, its minus ability does allow you to put creature cards into play. So technically, I suppose there's a world where you can brainstorm a Simic Sky Swallower or Progenitus on top of your library and then actually get in the red zone with this thing. Actually, this text is really small. I should probably read this this middle ability here. So it's look at the top card of your library. If it's a land or creature with CMC less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on this thing, you can put it onto the battlefield. It also has a -6 that lets you untap 2 lands you control, and they turn into 5/5 elemental creatures with flying and haste until end of turn. So that can be a lot of damage, and technically that can also happen the turn Nissa comes down. This Nissa's loyalty is a little bit weird. The sideboard is generally full of just solid sideboard options. I think Celestial Purge is a pretty interesting choice. Not one that sees a ton of play, but in the right spots, it's very, very good. This will give this deck outs to things like a Blood Moon or a Sneak Attack that was placed in play or something like that. I do like the inclusion of the Collector Oof as a Green Sun target for some of the combo matchups and things like Urza as well. I'm really excited to give this one a go. I think this deck is conceptually interesting. I have some worries. So, for example, is Veil of Summer good? Am I going to have green, green, green in order to cast Natural Order with Veil of Summer backup? Because there's one Veil main deck, and then there's two more in the sideboard. So, it's like, is this a good plan? Is this too much? Is the Veil like going to protect Planeswalkers instead? Should this deck have more Uros? I have some questions about how some of the numbers look. So, for example, does this deck want two Ponders, or does this deck want four Ponders? And you cut something like the Dovin's Veto and the Veil of Summer, or something like that, in order to get more consistency in the other elements. This is a Green Sun deck, but there aren't really all that many Green Sun targets. Like, do we want more variety here? Do we want a Gaddock Teague in the sideboard? I think we're going to be able to identify some things in this deck list that we can maybe do better or change, or at least think about changing in the future. All right. If you've been enjoying my Legacy content, please take a second and throw me a like before we get started with the matches. That has been really helping my analytics, and I can't stress enough how great of a month I have had playing Legacy, so thank you all for your support. I've been given a very interesting round one opening hand. I am on the draw, and I think this hand is very good if I spike a land, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. I have 2 mana anyway, so if I miss out on a land, I can try to Ice Fang Waddle into a land, and then there really only needs to be a land in my top 3 cards instead. Ooh, and my opponent is mulliganing to 5, and I have a Force of Will. I like where this is perhaps at. We're playing against something like a Moonstompy deck, or a Belcher deck, or an Oops All Spells deck, or something like that. Like, I have interaction, followed by more interaction slightly later, followed by, like, a Teferi, which will maybe do stuff. The Dredge. Natural Order is not a bad draw. Not a land like I want, but it's fine. I just need to stop stuff from going to the graveyard. That might be easier said than done. If my opponent plays another land, they can just flash this back, but I'm pretty sure I am supposed to counter this. I think that pause there with my opponent realizing that I pitched Simic Sky Swallower. Casting a Narcomoeba. Or playing a Breakthrough. Shit. Alright, I got. I think I'm okay if I hit my land drop this turn. Like, I at least have a very real chance. If I miss this land drop, life's bad for me. Oh no. Oh no, YouTube. Currently 7 cards in my opponent's graveyard. Soon to be more. So Cephalid Coliseum is going to be on. Oh, they dredged through a Grave Troll. Alright. Officially, life is bad. Can't cast Dovin's Veto right now. These feel bad. I'm gonna keep this Teferi in the hopes that, like, maybe it gets to... Fuck, I am so So close with this here. Like, if I had another land drop here, holy crap. Just hitting green land drops off the top would be really strong. My opponent doesn't have a bridge from below yet, so that Cabal Therapy is not overly threatening. But Cephalid Coliseum can ruin me. Somewhat interestingly, my opponent did not choose to just wait on that. They're choosing to just try to go here. Which honestly might just be correct. Just like try to overtax the ooze. It's only one bridge. That's the good news. They have 3 surgicals post board. Is that correct? Oh, and a crypt. Alright, opponent hit on naming green suns. That's reasonable. That's one of my best possible draws. Alright, what am I doing with my life? How do I best take over this game in the face of a Cephalid Coliseum? Do I just eat the dredgers now? There's stinkweed, stinkweed, thug, stinkweed, stinkweed, so I cannot eat all of the dredgers, so maybe that's not the best angle to take. I can eat all of the Icarids. I could eat 2 of the Icarids and the Ox. I don't think they're going to be able to cast the Ox, though. Ox is red-red on flashback, right? Ox is red-red on flashback. That's probably not happening. Eat some Icarids. Actually, maybe it's Bridge now? Bridges are really good. Like, the Scavenging Ooze as a 2/2 lives through a zombie. I'm gonna eat all the Icarids. I don't know if that's correct. But I think one of the big things that I'm looking to do right now is make sure that my opponent doesn't get... Gosh, was there the 4th Icarid and I just missed it? Oh, shit. Then I misplayed. That 4th Icarid was there. I should have been holding up for bridges. Ogak was something I was not expecting either. With all those Icarids, if I just like let those get into play too, that's also just a huge problem. But one of the things I was hoping to dodge with the line that I took was Cabal Therapies. I was hoping to dodge some number of Cabal Therapies and bridges, and then my opponent ended up with multiple bridges and multiple therapies. That means all of my cards are gone. And they have a good chance of going wide of me as well. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting out of this. The Icarids represented probably six, maybe nine. I forget exactly where the locations were. Oh no, they had many Stinkweed imps. Yeah, the Icarids could have just represented 12 damage in this turn cycle. This is one of those turns where like I could really spend the time later to like break it down and figure out what line was best. But that's not something I always want to do while I'm recording because I wanted to keep the content flowing. But I actually think this turn cycle was pretty interesting. Decisions were hard. Right, no attacks from my opponent. They're just going to harvest 3 more zombies from the bridges. Try to go wide. So I can eat 3 things here. That gives me an 8/8 scavenging ooze. Plus some life. The bridges are still a problem. My opponent has a billion zombies. They are at 11. Maybe I can still steal this with a Progenitus. Alright. I would like to eat remaining Icarid. Can I attack with Ice Fang? That makes 1 Progenitus attack lethal. I don't think I'm going to get that, though. I think I probably just hold back from here. Take the Icarid now. And trade cleanly with Hogak. With Ooze. Like, I can turn Ooze into an 8/8. I might have better luck just keeping my Ooze alive, though, and taking the damage from the Hogak. Or death touching the Hogak away. So like, let's say I block 3 zombies. There's 5 of these in here. That's 10 damage, that's 18, that's 19 damage, that's not lethal. Okay. Need an end of combat stop on my opponent's turn here. If I go this and this, that's 14 plus 7, that's 21, 22 damage. So I do need another chump block. I don't need to answer bridges here. I can just answer a creature. Need a troll with this green mana. Opponent has to go through the fun thing of stacking these properly. I think they figured out what's what. Get that stack out of the way. And I need to eat this Hogak so it doesn't come back. And then we'll top deck something magical and deal with the remaining 10-ish zombies. Not quite. Not quite. Like, I need some more stuff. I can make a very large creature, but they have a bunch of jump blockers. We did better that game than I expected. It's possible there were even winning lines in that game. Alright. Would like surgicals for sure. I'd like the Tormod's Grip for sure. The Flusterstorm is fine. I will probably play it. Like, it's definitely better than a Dovin's Veto, which is just slower. Don't need to worry about my stuff being countered, so that can go. Same. Like, Veil of Summer technically does stuff versus Cabal Therapy, but I don't think I care about that. Hull Breacher technically has some text in this matchup, and it's just a blue card. That's fine. I don't think this is a matchup for Nissa. Green Sun gets Ooze, so that's quite good. Still want 2 natural order targets. Teferi is not great. Let's go down on one of those. Is anything else better than Teferi? Like, Veil's medium. Dovin's Veto is medium. Teferi's really not great, though. Let's junk a Teferi, and my opponent, like, technically has Lotus Petals, and this is also just a 2/2 that can, like, be killed and go to the graveyard and help answer a bridge from below. It's possible Veil of Summer for Cabal Therapy is better than some of this stuff, but eh. Yeah, this is good. My opponent says, I was just watching your False Cure video before our game started, and when I saw Simic Skywatcher get pitched, I knew I was in for a good game. For sure. Alright, I have a Dryad Arbor, right? Like, just idiot checking myself here. Yes, I do have a Dryad Arbor. Is that... I really want this to get a Scavenging Ooze if I rip a land. Let's just play Noble Hierarch this turn accordingly. And I will, play the Tormod's Crypt. So they get to resolve that. And they'll probably put some Dredgers into play. And then I'll hope that they don't have something cute like a Street Wraith. Ooh. So, like, given this, I probably just crypt them, right? Oh, maybe I don't. Like, Thug isn't super harmful on its own. I'm not gonna, like, risk it for the biscuit here and Brainstorm. I'll let them have the Thug. The Dredge 4. Yeah, see, I'm much happier eating all of this stuff than just the Thug. And this is only 6 cards in graveyard. Although I guess if my opponent sacked the Lotus Petal, they could have activated Cephalid Coliseum in response. Ooh, maybe that was not good on my end. Don't have a ton of experience of, like, playing with blue decks versus Dredge. Like, I've played versus Dredge a lot. I've played blue decks a lot, but like blue decks versus Dredge doesn't come up a ton. Oh yes. It's that sort of game. I like this sort of game. Here I think I have enough bad cards that it is worth it for me to brainstorm. Like, for example, I want the Simic Sky Swallower back in my deck, in all likelihood. Um, really awkward now that I drew Uro, which is potentially something that I want to cast at some point in this game. But I think next turn I'm just naturally ordering for Progenitus, and that's that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's everything I need. Let's put back the Sky Swallower and the Green Sun. Do I want to redraw that Green Sun? Not really. I already have my Ooze. Yeah, this is fine. I'm not gonna attack here. I'm going to attack twice with a Progenitus, and that's my win. So I don't think this 2 points matters. Alright. I believe it is correct to fetch here. That said, I'm not going to, because if I drew exactly my Progenitus in this turn cycle, it would be fucking pissed. So I'm going to take that Green Sun that I don't love in exchange for not having that horror scenario happen. Alright. So I have Force of Will for my opponent's enabler that allows them to dump stuff into the graveyard. And then I have Scavenging Ooze to clean up everything else afterwards. I think it's okay to tap out for that natural order. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's an awkward one. I need to Force of Will that because that gets cards into the graveyard, but then they potentially have something better afterwards. Yeah, we'll just take that damage from the Thug. Don't get cute, Phil. Don't get cute. Don't think about it. Just attack twice with Progenitus and play Scavenging Ooze. Don't think about that dream of snagging the Cephalid Coliseum activation with Hull Breacher. It is too tempting. I don't think anything has changed about my sideboarding. Like, technically, I could think about Celestial Purge specifically for Hogak, or I could think about the Dovin's Veto, but it feels a little slow. I mean, admittedly, Hull Breacher is also a little bit slow, though. Oh no. Um, YouTube, how much do you believe that I'm going to draw a Brainstorm? I don't think I believe this much. Like, Tormod's Crypt is great and all, but the rest of this hand is, like, big stinky doo-doo. I'm going to mulligan this one. Uh, Technically has 2 lands. It technically has Graveyard Hate. Has a free counterspell. Issue is that if I have to pitch the Force of Will. Sorry, if I have to pitch the Brainstorm, then the rest of this hand is kind of awkward. I think I keep this. It's spooky. I have Ooze on turn 2, so. No. No, Squidward. I'm not giving you that. Alright, we play Dryad Arbor this turn, so I can play Scavenging Ooze next turn. We hope for, like, no Faithless Looting or equivalent to this turn. Ooh! Ooh! I have an Ooze in play. Now, admittedly, they still do have that one enchantment spell that can... Not enchantment spell. The one spell that can bounce like enchantments or creatures or whatever. So, like, it's not like they're dead to a Scavenging Ooze, but this is a very nice draw for me. I do need more green mana. Hey, green mana. I'm just gonna attack for 2. I want to have access to this other mana for Dryad Arbor. Cast a Narcomoeba? Cast a Breakthrough for X equals 1? I think that just happens. But I think I fetch first, so I can have access to green mana instantly without having to fetch. Does that matter? No, maybe that doesn't matter. Okay. Guess I had one Flusterstorm there. I could have Ice Fanged in response. But I don't know whether Ice Fanging in response for a 1-of Flusterstorm is better than just holding up green. Alright, do I have a Savannah for green-white? I do. I get to eat 4 things over 2 turn cycles. There's 4 dredgers. Let's start with eating 2 dredgers. I might end up taking a bridge. JK, let's extract the bridges. What a sick draw. I think this is the point where the scales have tipped very cleanly in my favor. Alright, bridge, 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 bridge. Alright, does my opponent have anything I super care about? 2 bounce spells, some fast mana, a Hogak, another Ox. I should technically take a screenshot of this, but I'm not going to. I think I'm close enough to good here that I don't have to do that. This is also just straight up a third of their life total here. And the Icarid can't come back right now. There's 6 cards in graveyard, so they can't activate Colosseum immediately. I know they have a Looter in their hand, but then unless they draw another land, they can't activate Cephalid Colosseum. And even if they activate Cephalid Colosseum, I don't know that that's actually the end of the world for me. Like, that puts them to 8, which is on board lethal. I just eat one more time with Scavenging Ooze, and they're dead. So unless they have Lion's Eye Diamond, I believe that is going to be GG's. They didn't hit a Narcomoeba there for a chump blocker. GG's. Ooze too good. I did admittedly get a little bit lucky with ripping that surgical too. This is a really awkward hand in that it has 4 lands and 3 spells, and I can cast something on turn 2 and turn 3, but I'm still not sure if the hand's good. I am on the draw, and I think this is okay. I am not confident in that. Alright. Let's assume this is Death and Taxes, in which case our cards are not good. Very much not good. Oh, I should have played Island there for Brainstorm specifically. Oh, JK. Humans? Humans? Yep. Now my turn 2 play isn't good. That's okay. The good news is that if I can natural order in this matchup, it probably just works the vast majority of the time. Alright, my removal's off. That's not the best. I would say my opponent is probably like 70% to win this game as of right now. Very unfavored. We were really hoping for a slow bluish matchup with this keep. Oof. That's... Oh god, there's more. My opponent's hand is the nuts. Damn! I'm rooting for the opponent now. Holy shit. Alright. So let's assume Dovin's Veto basically does nothing. I don't know. Maybe Hold Reacher gets a card off of Horizon Canopy. That would be something, right? Alright. So 3, 6, 7, 8. I can get the mom tapped. I'm gonna block this Thalia's Tenant. This doesn't soak up the most damage, but there's a real chance that my opponent just lets this one go and doesn't tap mom. Whereas I think if I block the Mariner, there's a good chance that they tap mom. And then I don't actually get to trade with the body. Alright, Brainstorm. Those sure aren't natural order. I can play an Ice Fang Coatl and get a redraw. I have another forest that I can get. Do I do it now? Do I play bird? Like, just literally as something that can jump block? That costs me my treasure. Maybe that's fine. No, maybe that's not fine. Yeah, let's Ice Fang Coatl later. Actually, I don't even know if Progenitus is enough at this point. Like, my opponent just has a bunch of bodies. Protected bodies at that. Alright, so that happens. Alright, I'm definitely going to be looking for fast natural order in post-sideboard games. Oh no, my opponent picked protection from white. Oh, that is lucky for me. Oof. Alright, do I brainstorm end step? I think I do. This just smooths out my next turn a lot if I can just find like a natural order or source of plowshares here. Fuck! Alright, that's not good. Ice Fang Coatl, draw a card, brainstorm, find swords to plowshares. That is my plan. Is there a specific way I need to do the remaining mana? Brainstorm with these two versus one of the other lands. This is my white, this is my one, my blue, and my one. Swords to plowshares. Fuck. Well, that's going two down. And Uro is kind of worthless with Caracas on the other side of the battlefield. Get a bunch of mana into play. I'll draw. Don't think there's any point in doing that wasteland on my turn versus their turn. Like you could wait to see if you draw a recruiter or something like that. That is going to use your mana. Okay. My opponent is going protection from green to just get the damage in, so they're not letting me chump block, which is smart. Alright. The Meddling Mage probably names Swords to Plowshares. What kind of makes sense to me. Yep, okay. I agree with that wholeheartedly. What does the rest of my mana do? Play Uro. Play Ponder. Try to find a second land, move that Progenitus away from the top card of my library. Play Uro, still have access to Hull Breacher. That's not bad. Green Sun. Green Sun can get me a Scavenging Ooze. That costs me 4 mana, leaving me with 2 mana. I can eat Thalia's Lieutenant and Mariner, go up to 4 life. That leaves me with all green cards, though. And then I take exactly 4. That's not good yet, but it's probably good next turn. Let's go like green. Use this so it can't be wastelanded and muck with my timing. Green, green, blue. All right. And green sun for X equals 1. I don't think that's good. I think that's just all I have for this turn. And then I have Hull Breacher so that the Alpha Strike doesn't beat me. Athalia's Lieutenant here just totally wrecks me. But I don't think I get to do much about that. My opponent can protect the Thalia here to make sure some good amount of damage actually gets in. Okay, they're blocking, or they're using the ability on the Meddling Mage. Protection from blue. Okay, that's fine. I think Hullbreacher is going to go here, and I think Icefang Coatl is just going to jump in front of Thalia. Yeah, I take 2 this turn, and I have a decent amount of life gain in the hole. Alright. Costs me 4 mana to get a Scavenging Ooze, and then I can eat 4 times, going to 7 life. More life than Uro gives me. Okay, hold on. I need to do a quick check in my graveyard to just like make sure Scavenging Ooze isn't dead. That's very, very important. Alright, Scavenging Ooze is not dead. 1, 2, 3. Just tap that. 4. X equals 2. Grab Scavenging Ooze. I don't... General Kudrow that can muck with the graveyard. I don't think I have to eat now. I think I can wait. That's going to be pro green. That's fine. Let's go ahead and eat a critter now. Do I want to chump with Hull Breacher? I don't think I do. There's a world... Well, it does just put another thing into the graveyard. I also could chump with a mana dork. I don't necessarily need this crazy amount of mana that I have. Oh, right. Yeah. I will go ahead and block it. Like, more creatures in the graveyard is actively good for me at this time. I don't believe that I'm coming back from this. This Scavenging Ooze has just clocked into the office, and he's ready to work. I have 3 things left in graveyard that I can eat. I'm going to go ahead and play an Ice Fang Coatl. The upside of drawing a natural order is just surreal. And I don't hate lands. Am I just playing Uro? 1, 2, 3, 4. That gains me 3 life, draws me 1 card. I can still gain 2 more life beyond that. Yeah, that's probably okay. Green, blue, green, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That costs me no creatures from my graveyard. Alright, is Scavenging Ooze attacking? Scavenging Ooze can probably attack. It's literally half of my opponent's life total. I'm at 10, effectively at 12. I think I save this bird rather than play it out. My arrow gets bounced now. That's fine. That's just worth more cards later. Okay. Sure. Yeah, alright, that's uncounterable. So that happens. Ooh. I've officially put my opponent on the defensive. That is great. No, why are those graveyards popping around like that? Let's just play this first. So this is my only elf currently. Fine. 1, 2, 3. Put 4 into the graveyard. I guess Icefang Coatl is just attacking this turn. I'm up to 15 life now, so I'm just going to go ahead and batch, take another land out of library. I think I am going to win this game because of my opponent's misclick on their Mother of Runes, like 6 turns ago. Just trample. No. Ah, Teferi. That's interesting. Bounce their mom. Just bounce their vial. That's like the one thing that can't be protected here. Lets me know if shenanigans are going to happen ahead of time. Like so. Um, Brainstorm. Well, I can't cast Arrow, I guess. Yeah, so I guess Brainstorm is good. Oh, a natural order. Oh, that's sick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just put back a Force of Will, I guess, and a Veil of Summer. The Veil of Summer doesn't really do anything here. I shouldn't need to attack here. I'm just going to keep more bodies back. I'm at 15 life. My opponent doesn't have 15 power in play. My opponent can't protect enough stuff to actually get me dead. I think I've just got this here. My biggest concern is just accidentally timing out. Opponent has named Hippogriff. I respect it. my opponent just trying to waste a couple of my seconds here. Bad manners, but, like, I get it. Alright, so what do we have for humans? Basically it looks like nothing. Like, I have a Disenchant and a Collector Oof, I guess. Celestial Purge probably does nothing. Veil of Summer sucks. My Allosaurus Shepherd isn't really for this matchup either. My Hull Breachers aren't great, but they technically do things. Um, yeah, I think that's all I get to do. Okay. Um, I have a mediocre hand that I will be keeping here. I'm going to be trying to play quickly here in case I have to play 2 games, so I am not going to think about things overly. So, for example, I should have led on Forest instead of Tropical Island because of Wasteland, but I'm just going to try to fire off plays as quickly as I can here. Yeah, Exhibit A. I think this Thalia is probably the most detrimental thing that's currently on the board because it means that I can't Force of Will. And I'm just going to ponder, probably looking for a white land or a natural order, or both. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I played that Forest on 1. I think I just counter that for the sake of my life total, more so than anything else. Why did I float that? Just get a basic here most of the time. I'm gonna just grab the Noble Hierarch. Like, all I need to do is not draw Progenitus next turn, and my opponent to not have Thalia. Alright. I succeed. Operation Turbo Progenitus is a success. Can't actually cast this to Fairy that's in my hand because I opted out of Plains, but I don't think that matters at this point. Humans normally does not have any outs to something like a Progenitus. Yep, that is the concession. Oh, what a round. What a just crazy round. I am very happy that we were able to crawl back from that game 1 scenario. My opponent's misplay with their Mother of Runes unquestionably cost them this game and maybe even the whole match. Or sorry, last game and maybe even the whole match. Let's see. So I'm on the play. No, I'm on the draw with this hand. It's just a fast natural order. All right. What you got? Don't be Delver, don't be Delver, don't be Delver, don't be Delver. Like, we just want to see planes go. Alright, so regular snow-covered island probably means that we can, like, take some time, find a Teferi or something. Should I play Trop? I'll play Trop. Alright, so the plan is Hierarch Pass. Next turn is Green Sun for X equals 1. Get Stupid Elfman. And then Stupid Elfman makes Natural Order uncounterable. Allosaurus Shepherd, there we go. Card's $50. I should know what it does. What it's called. But I know what it does. Stay the course. Stay the course. And the cool part is, like, this doesn't even look like a spell that should be countered, right? And bam, that happens. I guess I need to do, like, Batterskull versus Progenitus math. I think I ultimately attack for 30. And my opponent will be at, like, 27-ish, effectively. So I think I'm fine. The Batterskull can't block me, so they're only gaining 4 life on offense. Oh. Oh, baby. That's good. I fetch. Not expecting Stifle, right? I don't think I need to fetch, though. Uncounterable. Natural order. This is what the donor wanted. And it's happening. Progenitus, baby! I guess, like, Batterskull also just, like, can't attack into Progenitus, right? Like, that's a whole other thing. So I negate the first potential attack. Oh, fuck me. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, this is fucking bad. Alright, now I get to equip that to Stoneforge, attack in, I discard a card. Do they untap all of their lands? Or is it permanents? That's all lands. Actually, then the Batterskull doesn't get put in. Maybe if the Batterskull doesn't get put in, it's fine. Yeah, maybe the Batterskull doesn't get put in, it's fine. Like, it's not great. But it's probably fine. Oh, I don't need this end of combat step on my opponent's turn anymore. That's going to throw off my groove. I think basically this Force of Will counters exactly Council's Judgment, and then I don't care about, like, any other card that my opponent can have. Actually, I guess they could have, like, a Terminus. And I can't fight back against a Supreme Verdict. Nice! Deck is working. Alright, against Stoneblade. Like, oof, I like Disenchant. Flusterstorm's probably fine. Carpets and Veils are probably fine. So I have 7-ish cards I can think about. Let's figure out what I don't want. I probably don't want Scavenging Ooze, despite the fact that it can fight against Snapcaster Mage. I just don't expect there to be very many bodies in the graveyard, since both of us have Swords of Plowshares as removal. Honestly, most of these cards look pretty good. I was Green Sun. Green Sun finds Uro. Green Sun finds Allosaurus Shepherd. Maybe I don't Force of Will? That's weird, though. I could, like, not Swords to Plowshares or not Force of Will. Veil of Summer is a better defensive spell, but Force of Will is a better offensive spell. All right, what does it look like if I do this? This gets me 5 total slots, which is probably like Carpet, Disenchant, Fluster, Veil. If I bring in Carpet, I can probably cut 1 Bird or Noble Hierarch. Put an Oof for that. Leave 1 Veil in the sideboard. That's probably okay. The other thing I could do is just, like, not bring in Collector Oof. I think that would be reasonable as well. This hand is unexciting, but I'm going to keep it. Like, I have 2 Brainstorms, 3 Lands, a Cantripping Guard, a Mana Accelerator if I want a Mana Accelerator. I'm not sure that I do. This might just be a card. It's a little hard to tell what this Green Sun should be doing with this hand. I think I like playing the Green Sun on turn 2. I think the biggest question with that hand was actually, like, do I play a fetch on turn 1 to work towards turn 3 Death Touch on Icefang Coatl? I think the answer is no. I was more land than I wanted to draw by a lot. Am I playing around back to basics? I don't remember what lands I showed my opponent game 1. I was going to play around back to basics. I really should have done it from turn 1 on. Let's not play around back to basics. Thought this was going to happen. So, last game, the Green Sun was really... Oh. Okay, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought I was going to get, like, a 2-mana counterspell there. I think I'm going to take this opportunity to thin my library of that Dryad Arbor. I don't want to draw that ever. Alright, Containment Priest is now on my radar. It is quite unfortunate for me that my opponent has access to that because it's very good against, like, a number of different angles for me. I'm gonna Swords to Plowshares on my opponent's turn. I'll also Icefang Coatl. It's awkward. I could consider Swords to Plowsharing main phase on my own turn to better play around, like, Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm type cards. But then Force of Negation Pitchcast is available. And if they go for an equip on their turn, Sorry, I forgot where I was going with that thought. Oh, shit. How am I beating that? I have to leave in Force of Will for this card. That's the answer to that question. I just have to, like, race this or disenchant the sword. Yep. Let's get that out of play first. Now I'll brainstorm. We're looking for natural order. Plus a way to protect it. Okay, that's good. Oh no, I also need a green creature. Fuck, you remember when I got rid of that Dryad Arbor? That was fucking dumb. Alright, God, that's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. What a punish. I don't know if what I did was wrong at the time. Given how things developed, it sure sucks. Okay. I'm gonna put back one land. A brainstorm? 2 lands? Maybe let's put back 2 lands. I guess I can start getting some basics for Ice Fang Coatl, although I don't think that matters. Hello. Hello. You know how I always just like fucking praise how good Carpet of Flowers is to the high heavens? This turn is a great example of why that is. I can brainstorm. I can play this slower than what I'm going to do. However, I think it is time to just go for it. And if they have a Force of Will or Force of Negation plus blue card in their last couple of cards, like, so be it. But make them have it. They don't currently have the second white showing for Council's Judgment, which is the big thing that potentially beats me here. They need to find... Oh, that's bottom. That's great for me. Alright, there's their white source. So now they are digging for Council's Judgment, which is maybe a 1 or 2 of. I'm going to assume it's 2. So they probably have 2 hits in 44 to answer my Progenitus, but a huge number of cards that will cantrip. And they get a lot of mana. I don't think I want to brainstorm this turn. So that's okay. It does mean that I can't find a piece of protection for the Progenitus and hold it up on my opponent's turn, though. Unless I, like, randomly attack to fairy. I don't mind that at all. I will play a pre-combat Carpet of Flowers. Attack you. Alright. Blue. Go with blue. I'll brainstorm. This is neat. I can have 4 mana Nissa, 2 loyalty that can't cheat Uro into play. Um, do I want to draw another land? I don't really want to draw another land. Unexpected, but okay. I'll not put a land onto the battlefield. Yep, that's turn. If opponent finds Council's Judgment to answer my Progenitus, they find Council's Judgment to answer my Progenitus. Otherwise, I win. Well, I guess I could actually Swords of Plowshares their own true name Nemesis, and that keeps him alive for a turn, too. But I like my odds here. Yeah, I wonder if my opponent casting Submerge was actually good, right? Because that puts the Uro back into my hand, and then I can just discard it on my turn. They were probably just supposed to let my Uro go to the graveyard rather than cast that Submerge. Okay, Progenitus has protection from everything. Oh, hold on, Alright, they Swords to Plowshares their own true name Nemesis, I see. That's fine. 3, 7 mana. I can Nissa for X equals 5. Not fantastic. The fairy is pretty awkward here, huh? Can Uro and go up to 9 life. What does that do for me? Probably keeps me alive. Don't have more blue mana for Nissa here. There's a world where I just kill Teferi Time Raveler so that I can Swords to Plowshares on my opponent's turn. But I think I'm just going to snag the Germ. Wait, hold on. Snagging the Germ puts them to 17. If they just equip Batter Skull, that puts them... They're at 3. They can gain 9, go to 12. Then I have Uro. This is actually really awkward. Maybe I do just attack Teferi with Progenitus. That wastes a lot of damage. But gaining access to, like, Swords to Plowshares on my opponent's turn is very good. That's weird. Now, I guess if the Stoneforge gets equipped with Batterskull, like, I just block with Uro and kill it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this while I have this extra mana. I don't think the extra mana is relevant. I guess I have another Submerge to think about. Second Submerge would be weird, though. That was a difficult turn. I was, like, actually a pilot of this deck. I would sit back and, like, run some numbers for, like, number of outs my opponent has for this stuff later on. Okay, my opponent found a Force of Will. I'm just going to assume that's because it's the only thing that my opponent had. Nice, and just like that, we are 3-0 with this brew. Well done. Alright, we have gotten paired against Elves Expert Julian. I need to mulligan that first hand, the mana is not good. This second hand is solid. If Julian is playing Elves, an early Hullbreacher can do a lot of work, and if he's not, I just have good cards here. I think my secondary Noble Hierarch probably goes back with this hand. Do I troll Julian in chat somehow? I don't know what I'd say to him right now. Oh, he says, oh, hey, good luck. I will have to respond the same way. You too. We're not going to warn him about the spice. Like elves? Elves. Alright, we have Hullbreacher. And Force of Will isn't bad either. Cool part here is that, like, we kind of disguise ourselves as Maverick here. I don't like that Heritage Druid. I think I just let that happen. Feel good about letting that happen. I don't really like that. But I think I let it happen. I've got one counterspell here. Oh, baby. Why am I not playing a Plague Engineer deck right now, though? Sorcery Speed Ice Fang Coatl. Try to find... And so it death touches. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but I think I want to do this now. Figure out what my options look like. Brainstorm. I don't think I'm brainstorming. I'll do it my opponent's end of turn. Just like try to find a natural order. Just try to 2-turn clock my opponent. Alright. That is exactly why we did not counter the the earlier cards. I feel like I've played this game very well. Nettle Sentinel can crash in. That attack is just free. It won't be blocking. Ice Fang Coatl doesn't have Death Touch yet. I only have 2 snow permanents other than it. I am going to brainstorm now. The upside is so high to hit a natural order. And just be able to cast it on my turn. What does Green Sun do? Green Sun finds Ooze. I guess Green Sun could find Uro. I only have 1, 2-ish cards in graveyard, so I want Dovin's Veto. Yeah, let's put Misty Rainforest back. I'm gonna give Julian 1 turn, I think, to top deck something crazy. I think I just want to play this Ooze and not draw Misty. Like, I care about what? Green Sun's Hoof. Natural Order. Maybe I just wait. I draw the Misty, and then I can Green Sun while still holding up Dovin's Veto. Alright. Let's play conservatively. I Dovin's Veto something this turn. Then I could just Green Sun Zenith for Uro next turn. I don't know if that's actually going to be better than Ooze, though. Well, I am very glad that I did not tap out and give Julian the opportunity to do that. Nice. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take that hit again. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so now it's like Uro versus Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze is better immediately, but gets worse over time, whereas Uro is worse immediately and gets better over time. I think I'm gonna grab Uro. Then a future green sun can get the Scavenging Ooze for less mana. I'm fine with just firing with Ponder off here. I just want it in graveyard so I can get Uro back next turn. That's my 5th card in graveyard. Is any of this stuff good? The green sun can get a Scavenging Ooze, which I don't hate. Next turn I can Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, this stuff is fine. Am I attacking for 2? All the rest of this stuff is technically held back by Hold Reacher. I'll take my 2 points of damage. Alright. Green, blue, blue, green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it doesn't actually get rid of any creatures. Take the 2 points of damage again. There's either 1 or 2 natural orders remaining in the deck. I'm gonna assume Julian's on the full 4. The last list I saw him playing, I believe, had all 4. So, oh. Well, that's why I fired off the Swords of Plowshares immediately. That's fine. That's a 1/1. I have Hold Reacher. Nice. Get that out of the way. I think this attacks too. That's disgusting. Most afraid of Heritage Druid here, I suppose. I can eat a couple of elves and go to 20. So there's actually some worlds where I might actually just survive a hoof anyway. Alright, is this everybody? Probably everybody with Julian on 0 cards. Nice. Very happy to get game 1 versus elves. Very happy. I don't have much for this matchup. Like, am I gonna play Damping Sphere? Like, it makes Cradle worse, it makes Glimpse turns harder, but it doesn't feel like a good card in a vacuum, and it feels slow. Alright, let's start by figuring out what I don't want. Allosaurus Shepherd does not seem necessary. Veil of Summer does not seem necessary. Everything else I'm playing is fine to okay. Teferi Time Raveler is maybe a little loose sometimes, but can be an out to things like an early Archon. I don't hate that. I mean, this is 2 Damping Sphere. So, like, there's Damping Sphere and Flusterstorm to think about. And board out 1 Teferi and do this. I don't hate that. Let's try this. Ginger beer. It is delicious. I will mulligan. This is Mana Light. Might be better than going to 5, though. What are you getting? Green, blue? Grab a Trop. Alright, Dryad Arbor. Almost certainly, yep. Let's see if my opponent has, like, Aquarian Ranger, Glimpse Turn, or something like that. That's just absolutely nutty. Alright, Cradle. Cradle. So this can turn the Nettle Sentinel into a mana engine. Alright, I need to play Damping Sphere this turn. However, I also think I need to make my land drop. I'm going to cast a Brainstorm, and I expect that I will die if I miss a land. Right, so I have 18 lands. No, I have 17 lands remaining in the deck. I get 3 looks at a land. That's pretty good. I'm going to take a calculated risk here. Yeah. That's rough. All right. But I think if I'm missing my land drops, I just fall really far behind on board, even if I like stop a lot of my opponent's velocity. Yeah. All right, so this doesn't literally kill me, but I think this effectively kills me. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the towel here and go to the next game. Allosaurus Shepherd also shutting off the Flusterstorm. Rough. Maybe the presence of Allosaurus Shepherd means that I don't board in Flusterstorm and I just keep one more Teferi to bounce those stupid things. I could see it. It's awkward. Looks like Julian is doing a little play draw adjustment as well. Maybe adjusting some numbers on discard or something. Okay. I have kept a hand that casts Natural Order on turn 3 and bounces Julian's turn 1 play. I think that's good enough. It's not good enough if I draw Progenitus. Oh, that is beautiful. Just literal perfect card. I was thinking in my head, Force of Will is my best possible draw, and it indeed happened. Oh, you have a second Dryad Arbor? Sure. Until your next turn, you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. I mean, there's just no way I don't wait, right? Like in combat, natural order is fucking hilarious. Is there anything that punishes me? I can't think of anything that punishes me. However, I'm just gonna resolve it now in case I'm wrong. Like an Aven Mind Sensor style, like crazy card off a splash or something would be devastating. All right. Julian says, "Hey, that's my line." Well, I can't counter that. Can't counter that. Can't counter that. Can't counter that. Another natural order. That is interesting. I can cast it at instant speed. It can get me an Uro for some random life gain or something, or an Ice Fang Coatl. But I have to like give up my Progenitus to do that. That's not really great. Okay, so it's elves, each elf creature. So my opponent has 3 elves that can become 5/5s and crash in. So what I want to do is bounce one of those elves. Um, let's bounce, I guess, the Allosaurus Shepherd itself. All right, Julian. Can you get me for 19? All right, it can't be countered. Can't be countered. Oh no. Can't be countered. So the worst part is like I have this force of will, right? Like that I couldn't like touch Allosaurus Shepherd with. What a beating. GG. GG. Add the fours. Well played, Julian. All right, for round 5 here, I'm played against Aaron Relentless, who could be maybe on elves or maybe on death and taxes. I'm gonna keep this hand. I don't think this hand is anything special. But I only have 3 natural orders, so hands with them are a little bit better than hands without them. My opponent says hello. I want to play either Misty or Forest early here to power up Ice Fang Coatl. And I lean towards Misty so that I can brainstorm on my opponent's turn if I need to do that. Okay. Once upon a time, elves seems like the most likely thing to me right now, but he could be on something else. All right, repeat of last round. That's fine. I think I will brainstorm on my opponent's turn. Like in so many of my hypothetical lines, I think I just need to be using my manas my mana in ways that don't involve that card. Alright, Progenitus needs to get out. Oh, that's awkward. That's very awkward. We're maybe brainstorming Progenitus back into the deck at some point. Okay. 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 Alright, so I think this turn, I need to put a green creature in play. And I think I am going to put Icefang Coatl in play. The next turn I can draw the Progenitus, brainstorm it back, put it 2 down, and then play Natural Order on my turn 4. Now, if my opponent plays a Glimpse or something, things change a little bit. I don't like it. But I also can't really use this brainstorm to dig for fair interaction here. Like, my cards are all very spoken for in very specific ways right now. Drawing that Progenitus was real bad. Brainstorm, Progenitus 2 down, Swords to Plowshares, Wirewood Symbiote is not too bad. Go back Progenitus, and maybe this basic no-covered forest. We'll use Green Sun for 0 as a shuffle effect, and then, like, I don't have to worry about the Progenitus. That puts me ahead on mana. Gives me another body. Now Swords to Plowshares that. And doesn't have Death Touch anyway right now. Grab my 1 point of damage. Now, hopefully we just don't draw the Progenitus that was shuffled. But I think, like, shuffling the Progenitus away so that I don't need to be worrying about it every turn is a worthwhile endeavor. If my opponent has anything cute they're getting here, or if they're just going to grab a fetch land or something. Alright, they're going to grab another Dryad Arbor. Fine. Hull Breacher. That's a good draw, but don't exactly think that's an insane enough draw to make me deviate from my natural order. I do kind of blank 7 cards if I take a turn off to Hull Breacher. No, I think I just need a natural order. I'll hold Progenitus, or sorry, I'll hold Icefang Coatl back, I guess. Where's the Plowshares saying one of their creatures puts them at exactly 20. Protection from everything. I don't need to worry about Caracas. I am going to grab this. Denies them 1 mana off a Cradle, which is probably not super relevant. Actually, I'm at 19. Icefang Coatl can get in there. Whatever. In case I have to Source the Plowshares again. This just makes a Wirewood Symbiote slightly worse in the future. If my opponent draws one. And, like, since they have a Gaia's Cradle in play that I can't immediately answer, or really answer at all, stopping the Wirewood from turning into a draw engine is probably good. Ah, fuck. Oh, they only have 5 creatures. That's actually kind of interesting. They could attack in with everything. I would take 7. I would kill 1 elf. Next turn, they can be attacking in for 17. Okay, I need to be cognizant of that for the next game. I do have an Uro in my deck. Alright, so Progenitus attacks for 10, putting my opponent to 8. How do I eliminate the most outs for my opponent? Is it just holding up Hull Breacher? So the glimpses and such don't draw extra cards? Probably. I can't get any life off Scavenging Ooze right now. Alright. Progenitus sneaks in there. Very sneaky sneak. I mean, just do this while it's safe and I don't have to think about the timing. I don't want to cast Hull Breacher in response to something else they do, and then they get to draw a card off of the Nurturing Peatland. I need to dodge a Crater Hoof. Oh no, they drew it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Can't be countered either. Is that enough damage to kill me? I'm at 19. I have 3 block. Fuck. My opponent's natural order deck is also good. Alright, as we saw last round, I don't really have great things going on here. Like, the Damping Spheres and Flusterstorms, like, technically do stuff, but Flusterstorm's really bad versus Allosaurus Shepherd. So I think I want my Allosaurus Shepherd out, my Veil of Summer out for Damping Sphere in. And I'll call that good. Okay, I have a little bit of tension in this opening hand, but I kept it. And so the question is, like, am I doing duels to make it easier to cast both Icefang Coatl and Dovin's Veto, or am I trying to work towards Death Touch on Icefang Coatl? Don't think I overly care about Death Touch on Icefang Coatl right now. But I think it's safe enough to just grab an island on turn 1 and not overly commit. I don't know. I'm probably getting Windswept Heath anyway. Or sorry, I'm probably getting like Savannah anyway. Yeah, fuck it. I want Hull Breacher, so I'm good with this. This hand doesn't have the mana accelerator that I pretty badly want. That's okay. Was I supposed to put Savannah down so that I could fetch Savannah with Windswept Heath? Yeah, I was supposed to do that. I don't have a Tundra. Mm. Not the end of the world, but this might mean that drawing that forest now, if I want to hold up Dovin's veto, I could brainstorm. Go back to the Savannah, fetch the Savannah. Maybe I do want that land. Uh, Maybe I do want land 4. And maybe I do want land 4 and I'll just play Savannah. But I think I messed up in not putting Savannah as the final card down with my Ponder. Do the little things right. It matters. Oh man. Later on my snake. We'll put this back. We'll put this back. I think I want to be able to brainstorm and fetch if Hull Breacher isn't necessary. Hull Breacher feels like it's probably going to be necessary though. Again. Eh. Alright, what does x equal 2 do? Right now, x equals 2 probably gets Elvish Visionary, and so in response to the trigger, I can play Hull Breacher. Could just get something stupid like an ooze, though. Yeah, alright. Basics for Death Touch? Am I giving up on that? No. Maybe we can hardcast the Progenitus with treasure tokens. Alright. Let's start here. Oh god. Alright, that goes back. And one of like Dovin's Veto or Force of Will goes back. I guess Dovin's Veto. Neither is good with double Allosaurus Shepherd in play. I would accept a 3-for-1 in return for Hull Breacher here. Four, 5, 6 mana. So all of these elves are 5/5s now. And I don't have Death Touch. One away from Death Touch. Next turn I can Death Touch 2 of these things. I think I just need to keep some life this turn. Well, I mean, I guess next turn I can theoretically do that is a better way to say that. Do this. Yeah. Okay, I mean, there it is. I needed that. Alright, so take 5, 6, 7 next turn. I'm not dead. I need to keep attacking. Suppose. Otherwise, like, the Allosaurus Shepherds just, like, sit back and eventually kill me in a different way. Alright. Damage report, Captain. How bad is it? The Gaia's Cradle. That feels like a whiff, but it could just be Gaia's Cradle into Green Sun for lethal. Uncounterably. Alright. That's not the worst draw. Alright. Is Hull Breacher attacking in? Not against Allosaurus Shepherd, so now it's an Ice Fang Coatl's job. Which is awkward, but maybe it is an Ice Fang Coatl's job. I just need to like play Damping Sphere and pass the turn. Like, I don't know that I can take 2 Allosaurus Shepherd hits. I could chump block with Noble Hierarch. Yeah, okay, let's keep hitting. This makes Gaia's Cradle also just tap for 1 mana. So, I don't know, maybe we steal this one. Oh, did I mess up? No, if I would have played Damping Sphere pre-combat, they would have floated mana with Gaia's Cradle and just activated. Okay, no, I didn't mess up. But on my next turn, I attack with Hull Breacher because Gaia's Cradle now produces 1 mana. Opponent has 4 mana, they can't activate Allosaurus Shepherds. Although I guess I have Abrupt Decays to be thinking about. Will my opponent have Abrupt Decay versus me? Maybe? Yeah, that's very unclear to me whether or not they would board Abrupt Decay. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I guess I showed them Hull Breacher, and they would want to have outs to that, I guess. Now I'd just like to pull some life gain card. This is me too, right? Yeah. I will just cast this. Get rid of my counter spells here. I can Green Sun to shuffle. There's 2 creatures in graveyards total currently. So that probably means that Uro is just better. There is a line where I get a Noble Hierarch. Back for 3 this turn instead. I don't think that's better. I think just getting another card out of this is good. And I want to be attacking in the air now because my opponent has Dryad Arbor block bounce shenanigans. Two and 3 because of our own damping sphere. And this does get a little awkward if my opponent like naturally rips Bojuka Bog. That might not even be in their deck still. All right. I guess they can also just play 1 natural land and then have 6 for Allosaurus Shepherd, even though Gaia's Cradle is off. I guess Quarian Ranger also enables it. Hmm. That also enables it. Yeah, that's not great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have to block 2 of these. That means I have to put Hull Breacher out of play. Not the best for me. Alright, so what do I want Death Touched? Is it an Allosaurus Shepherd? And then I can Swords to Plowshares and answer the other one, maybe, if I'm lucky. I will buy that. Oh, I messed up. Dryad Arbor's still in my deck. I fetch Dryad Arbor and then not blocked with Hull Breacher. That's a big punt. Alright. Blue, green, green. Blue. Two, three, four, five. Oh, I hit it. That's so good. Now I Swords the Plowshares, the Allosaurus Shepherd. It does cost me 2 mana, but then my opponent can't activate it on their turn. Alright, do I need the 2 mana here, or do I need the blocker more? Sorry, 2 damage here. I have 2 blockers. I have this Dryad Arbor. I'm going to take this damage. In all likelihood, it's 3 Ice Fang Coatl attacks that kills my opponent. Now this Force of Will is live again. Ooh. This is a great game of Magic. Like, regardless how this one goes, I've really enjoyed these games versus Elves. I think I'm the underdog here. Like, my opponent's deck just feels very good against blue decks. This is quite good. So I bounce the Quirion Ranger. Alright. That's good enough for my opponent. Alright. So the reason this is so good is because the Cabal Pit was going to blow up Ice Fang Coatl. And so I wanted to be attacking with Uro, and Quirion Ranger block bounce was going to do things that I didn't want it to do against Uro. But once this is out of play and I get like a nice Uro attack in, I get a little bit of traction. Oh yeah, and then we wouldn't actually have had natural order this turn. It would have taken one more turn, but I think we probably get there. All right, so Cabal Pit and Bojuka Bog and probably Caracas are things that I'm going to need to keep in mind from my opponent. That is a lot of stuff. Counterspells are so awkward that I almost want to just play a Collector Oof as a 2/2 that can help me not take chip damage in the beginning of the game. But they're so important for stopping me from just dying to stuff that I think I probably keep them. But that's a little strange. This is a really awkward hand for me that I'm going to hit the keep button on. The Progenitus being in hand is bad, but I have a mana accelerator, I have a Force of Will, and I have a Damping Sphere. Like, there's a lot to like about this hand, despite the fact that there are some things that aren't good about it. You can have your Dryad Arbor. I'm going to be gunning for something better with Force of Will. This one I think needs a drop. I am just gunning for turn 3 natural order for Simic Sky Swallower. And Progenitus is excuse me, currently getting pitched to Force of Will. Fuck you! don't think I was supposed to counter Green Sun for x equals 0. That's just feel bad. Alright, so now I do have my 4th mana for next turn, which is great, but I could just die. Die pretty easily as well. Mana? Mana. Note, I had to play my cards in that order, otherwise Damping Sphere would have made it so I couldn't cast the bird. Gaia's Cradle here is pretty disastrous, and I also don't have basics for Icefang Coatl, which would be death touching away some of these things if my opponent can activate. Can't be countered. Still can't be countered. Alright, Simic Sky Swallower. I'm putting the hopes and dreams of this league on your back. Don't feel good about that. Oh god. Alright, never mind. False alarm. Damping Sphere. Alright. This is a 3-turn clock instead of a 2-turn clock that Progenitus presents. Feels problematic for me. So my opponent has 3, 4, 5, 6 theoretical mana, so they can theoretically activate Allosaurus Shepherd, although it doesn't do them a ton of good right now. I would like to draw a fetch land, so I can like play Uro this turn, play Uro next turn, give myself a little bit more of a life buffer. Alright, what's happening? I also can't really... Alright, they're activating that. My opponent is just going to go for 2 turning me. That's fine. Grab their Birch Lore here. Although it might not have already activated Wirewood Symbiote, in which case they just bounce it. Yeah, alright. I take 10. Uro, I guess, is the starting point. 1 creature in the graveyard. Yeah, Uro just gains more life than Scavenging Ooze. Well, is that true? The Scavenging Ooze can also block. So, opponent has 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. They play a land. 5. Querying Ranger. 6. Back in with 4 creatures. Man. Simic Sky Swallower can't really attack. Yeah, I guess I'm just playing Scavenging Ooze. Damping Sphere is admittedly doing a little bit of work, but it's not shutting down elves. Like, I really want something like a Plague Engineer to just, like, take Allosaurus Shepherds out of play, because, like, we've seen just again and again in these last two matches versus elves, just shutting off the Force of Will, which is normally a very clutch piece of interaction versus this deck, is important. Alright, so my opponent has 4 of those attacking in. I don't die, but I effectively die here, right? So I lose 2 creatures, take 5, gain 1, and then the same thing just happens the following turn. All right, this is the point where I'm comfortable throwing in the towel. GG's, you've got this one. That's a very large treasure chest there. Okay. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Felt great until we got paired against elves, but elves is pretty good against blue decks. Allosaurus Shepherd is great. I can't say enough good things about that. Overall, I felt good about this deck list, though. And I think if we didn't get paired against elves, like, we had a real good shot for a potential 5-0 with this deck list. I don't think I like Veil of Summer in the main deck. I feel like this is a dead card in a lot of matchups, and you don't want to have dead cards in your deck in game 1. So for example, like, say you're playing a Delver deck, and you're in Grixis, and you could play a Lightning Bolt or you could play a Fatal Push. You should probably play a Lightning Bolt, because that card can go to the face, whereas Fatal Push can't. And Veil of Summer doesn't have the same degree of flexibility. You know, your opponent goes Plains Go, and your Veil of Summer does nothing, right? I also think it's a little hard, maybe in game 1, to get green, green, green for Natural Order with Veil of Summer backup. So the first change I would make to this deck is put in a 4th Natural Order for the Veil of Summer. That way I can just more consistently find Natural Order in game 1, and I can always board down that one later. Next up, I would probably cut the Nissa for something else. I would have to think about what that is. Another mid-rangey card of some kind. But in order to -6 this on the turn that it comes down, you need 8 mana, which is a ton, and I don't think we quite make that much mana in this deck. Maybe we just didn't play against the sorts of matchups where this card was good, but I think unless you're making, like, Cloud Post levels of mana, this card is pretty mediocre. It's also something that will just get caught up in sideboard cards like Pyroblast and stuff that are pretty likely to come in against you anyway. So I'd be junking that. The Allosaurus Shepherd feels a little weird, but it definitely came in clutch versus the blue decks. I think that one has earned its spot. As far as the sideboard goes, I do maybe want more creature removal. I don't know exactly what I want. You probably don't want to be playing something like a Supreme Verdict when you need your own, like, mana dorks quite badly for the natural orders. But I feel like I should have some options here for removing creatures in the sideboard. So I might be looking at removing Blue Elemental Blast and Celestial Purge for some sort of sideboard removal options. Whether that's like the 4th Source to Plowshares, Path to Exile, or something of this general nature. Those are the sorts of things that I would be thinking about. But this league was really fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far in this video, please throw me a like or a comment. Those sorts of things really help out with my analytics and keep me happy and motivated and help more people find my legacy content. And if you're really enjoying my stuff and you want to see your own deck on stream, the donation information as well as the deck lists are always in the video description. Have a great rest of the day, folks.